everyone, happy Vlogmas. Welcome back to another video. Today I just quite truthfully wanted to make as chill of a vlog as possible, so I thought what better time than to film a nice little reading vlog. And with that, I also received my Book of the Month book box in the mail earlier this week, so that's kind of what I'm planning for today. Book of the Month is a really fun subscription service. I think pretty much everyone on BookTube has heard of it if you've been around just for a few weeks or so. And this year in particular, I've actually purchased a book every single month of my membership. This is the first year I've ever done that. I usually will skip some months here and there, but not this year. I have been pretty consistent in my buying, but also my reading. I think I only have with this book, about 5 books left, including add-ons and like their book of the year book as well. So if you want like a little review or vlog about that, let me know. I was kind of filming some of these vlogs earlier in the year, but I fell off pretty hard. For this month, I ended up choosing something that is not typically a genre I gravitate towards. It's usually something I cherry pick more so. And I thought with this particular book, this would be a great addition just for the season itself. So I knew going into this month, I wanted something that was comforting, something that was just kind of like a bit more slow paced and familial, something that, I don't know, maybe something that can make me cry, we'll see. So the book that I ended up choosing is Before I Forget by Tori Henwood Hohen. And I was doing a little bit of research on her, and this is only her second novel that she has written, although she has been in the game for decades. I was reading online that she was a writer and editor for many different popular magazines, and the one that's sticking out the most to me is that she was the editor for the New York magazine, and I think she's going to be a fantastic writer. So Before I Forget is a late coming to age novel, and it's about the relationships between a daughter and her father. Her father is now starting to show signs of memory loss and the progression of his Alzheimer's. So that in itself, I think, is going to be a pretty heavy topic, and I'm honestly just kind of curious to get into it. Okay, it is time for my first update, and I am now on chapter 7. I have read 42 pages thus far, and what can I tell you? I am totally enamored by this book. I'm enjoying it so much. 42 pages is not very much to read to start off with, but I feel like there's so much that has already taken place within this book, and a lot of things are transparent for you, so you really get to the heart of this book almost immediately. We start off where our main character Cricket is meeting her older sister Nina at their father's home in upstate New York. He lives kind of more in an isolated area. I think there used to be a summer camp there. For the past few years, the older sister Nina has been caring for her father, or their father. You okay? But she now has this opportunity where she can study out of the country, which she intends to follow through with that. And with this father's progressing Alzheimer's, she thinks it'd be best for him to go to a care facility. So Cricket and Nina are meeting together so they can kind of tour these different places and make the best decision for their father. And in doing so, they would then sell his home and use that profit to pay for his care because it is so costly. Once Cricket arrives to her father's home, she is starting to have these memories flood back to her. And there's really only one thing that is a bit concealed, and it has something to do with this traumatic experience or traumatic accident that had happened years before, which is likely the reason that she left New York or left the area she grew up. And it may also be the catalyst of why she has this estranged relationship with her father. I'm having a good time reading. This is very enjoyable. This is the most focused I've been reading in a while. I'm now on chapter 15. I've read to page 90, and we just started this like a few hours ago. I've kind of stopped and have done some other things was feeding my dog, or I'm cooking my dog's food, but simultaneously I remembered my old YouTube channel and I started watching videos that I had posted from like over a decade ago. So I'm I'm touching into nostalgia some myself. Anyways, the past few chapters we are learning more about the responsibility that Cricket's taking on, being now her father's main caretaker, and the schedule that Nina had provided her. She's kind of figuring out what new schedule works best for them, letting her father relax a little bit. She's coming more to understanding with him. Cricket is also at this point in time starting to venture out and returning to this life that she ran away from whatever tragic accident happened years before. So she's kind of finding some stability and also having this relief that she's not being accused of anything. So that's going on. And there's a lot of connection I have with Cricket, I feel like. I'm sure many people can relate to her. I really like that, you know, she's 26 or so. And I feel like a lot of the times when you're reading, oh, his food's done. Okay. Had to go get my dog's food out of the oven. So, what I was going to say was, I feel, well, first of all, let me sidetrack. All of the characters I think are extremely likable and can be relatable in their own ways. I personally identify with a lot of traits that Cricket has, so that's fun for me to read about. And also just kind of like being in this state of unknowing and not really ever having this like sole focus or sole purpose on what you want to do, what you want to pursue. I 100% relate to that. And there have been characters and in books or in movies or TV shows that are at that place in their life as well. So it's not like this is a new concept by any means. However, I feel like a lot of the times whenever I'm consuming content with this theme, these characters come off as like extremely whining or self-deprecating, or they're playing victim, and it's a little off-putting when that happens. I don't care for them as much, and I'm not reading that at all in here. She's just kind of speaking her own truth. She understands what her faults could be, but at the same time, she's also confident in herself and her skills of that she can be a bit more amorphic and fit into different places and build different skills. So I really like that. The other thing I want to touch on really fast is at this point we are hearing a bit more of her father's prophecies, and that these small things that are not supposed to happen or have not happened for years, the father will mention and point out, today this is going to happen, which seems like it could be his dementia. And then it does happen. And a lot of these smaller things continuously happen where the father is in the right. I am enjoying that part of it, but at the same time, as I'm reading this, I'm like excited by, but also a little worried that the story is going to totally veer off and it's going to become like more so based on something psychic or supernatural, which I don't think will be the case here, but I 100% am thinking of House Across the Lake. House Across the Lake is my favorite book by Riley Sager, and it just kind of, I think, is a great exemplary book of creative freedom. I just hope it doesn't do that here. I'm going to keep reading. I don't know. I think realistically, I'll probably read like another 20 or 50 pages and then finish the rest of this book tomorrow. Okay. Cricket poured herself a glass of whiskey, as did I. I'm having so much fun. I knew I was going to like this book I did not think I was going to enjoy this as much as I do, but I feel like I'm going to be thinking about this for a long time. Are you okay? That doesn't sound good, bud. Do you have pneumonia? Sterling, do you have pneumonia? Come here. Come here. Good boy. Good boy, buddy. Here. Come here. You okay? You okay? I really hope he doesn't have pneumonia. Okay. Well, anyways, what did I want to talk about? The father. The father in this book is, I think, quite realistically, one of the most lovable characters I've ever read about. He's so sweet-natured. He's so goofy. He's always in good spirits. It's extremely admirable. I feel like when you have Alzheimer's, I mean, you obviously can't control what's happening, but I feel like it can make a lot of people like frustrated and anxious and upset, and he's kind of just riding the wave of it all, and I'm impressed. This is also something else I was thinking about. I don't know if it's specific to contemporary genres or not, since I don't read very many of them, but I feel like this book is making me feel extremely present in life and like what's happening within myself, around me, as I'm reading. And I feel like these characters are a part of that presence as well. And I don't really recall feeling that if I'm reading like a horror or thriller or romance or really any other genre. Do you feel the same way? Okay, it is the next day and I have finished reading Before I Forget by Tori Henwood Hohen, and this is such a jewel. This was a spectacular read. I strongly encourage you to read it, or if you know anyone who has experience with a loved one dealing with Alzheimer's, I think this could be a great gift for them to read. Despite the holiday season, like any point in their life, if they've had this, I think this is something extremely substantial and relatable for many people. I just absolutely loved it. So heartwarming, so much depth. I kind of pinpointed on that yesterday, but our author isn't just playing like this singular, beautiful, long-lasting note. We have her playing chords. Like she's playing a whole song back and forth, up and down. I don't remember reading anything of late that has this much substance to it and just feels so intentional. And that's something else I picked up while I was reading this. There wasn't anything that I thought needed to be edited. This was strong from the beginning to the end for me. I really value when people do that. A lot of the time when I'm receiving books or purchasing books, you know, they're usually about that 320-page mark or more. I feel like more often than not, there's like 100 pages or so that I just kind of fall out of. And I did not experience that once here. I actually could have finished this last night, but I purposely chose to wait to finish it today just because I wanted this experience to last a little bit longer for myself. That's how much I love this. I don't know if I want to go too much into like spoilers for you anymore. I started off yesterday thinking I would just kind of straight away say everything that I was reading. I haven't made any vlogs like that ever before, but at this point, I just want you to experience it for yourself. So maybe we have half spoilers for the beginning of this. So powerful, so beautiful. The entire read, I felt like I could cry. Like at any point, I just kind of had this feeling inside of me where if something touched me in a certain way, I would tear up. But I didn't until the very end of the book, naturally, because majority of the time I was smiling just because of how wholesome this was and how the characters interacted with one another. And, you know, the story definitely resolves in the best way that it possibly can. There are themes, obviously, of grief in here. I don't think we need to stray around that. I felt kind of silly, but they mention loons multiple times throughout this book. And I did not realize that right here, this is a loon itself. Didn't make that connection until I was done reading. I guess because I had the book open, I wasn't looking at the cover necessarily, but Loons, if you Google their calls, they have a very identifiable call, and I just had never associated one with the other. I will be looking for Cohen's debut novel, The Ark, which I believe is something along the lines of how you can better improve your relationships, and I think it's significant to your romantic relationship. So for the rest of today, I mean, I'm about to have some lunch, like a later lunch, but I'm also kind of curious about what I want to start reading next. I have a ton of books. I have way too many books out, and I'll kind of laughably show you. But I don't know if anyone else does this with their library accounts or not. When I first got my library card for this city that I live in now, and any single time I had free time, I'd be looking up what books they had and then just kind of putting them on hold, but for a future date. So then that way I remember, oh, our library has this. If I want to read this, I can check it out here as opposed to buying it. So I just kind of had this catalog for myself of books that, you know, when the time comes, I'll actually put them on a renewal date that day and request them. But what I would do is basically always put them towards the end of December throughout the year, and then come December, I'd move it into the next year. I don't think I can do it years in advance. Needless to say, I think you can see where this is going. I forgot to update the renewal date, and come December, I requested all of them from my library, like all at once. And I did not notice until I got an email saying they're ready for pickup. And, you know, our library has a maximum amount of items or books that you can take out, being 36. So I got 36 books from my library this past week, and oh my gosh, I felt so bad. I'm friends with my librarians, so I think they understood, you know, where I was coming from, but I apologized, and I will continue to apologize to them. But since they already pulled everything, I was like, I'll just take them with me. I'm not gonna ask them to put them back and stock them right after they did the work to take them out. I am such a mood reader, and we have those auto renewal cycles, so some of these I know I can have for a few months before they're actually due back. A lot of these books that I had on hold were books that I had on hold or were interested in reading years and years ago. So they're not super relevant to me. I don't really even remember where all these recommendations came from. A lot of these are some popular authors that I was just kind of curious about. I don't know, is it worth it to show you all of these? Some of them include Drew Barrymore's Wildflower, How to Say Babylon. I have some different horror books. The Origin of Time, Gathering Blossoms Under Fire, The Journals of Alice Walker, the book about getting older by Dr. Lucy Pollock. Oh, this is a young adult book, but it's called Solito. I have the Atlas Six, The Three Mothers, How the Mothers of Martin Luther King Jr., Malcolm X, and James Baldwin Shaped a Nation. Emma, Jane Austen, some nonfiction. I think this is a book that Gabby mentioned, but Reprieve by James Han Matson. This would be, I think, a good timing for this. Cleopatra and Frankenstein, Leaves of Grass, oh my gosh. Some Ocean Vuong, You Made a Fool of Death with Your Beauty. What I'm trying to show you is the receipt that I got, because I had never noticed libraries do this. I don't know if it's just the one that I go to or not, but a feature I kind of just picked up on. Silent Patient, Cosmos. Literally the day I checked these out, I had a request for this back, so this is the first book I probably should read. It's called Crucial Conversations, Tools for Talking When Stakes Are High. We have a Pamela Anderson book, Viola Davis book. This is what I'm after. At the very bottom of my receipt for this past pickup, it said, I had just saved $925.38 by using my library. This year, I have saved $2,334.22. And since using the library, I have saved a total of $44,516.37. It's bonkers. Anyways, if you've read any of these, let me know if you kind of push one over the other, or if you dislike something. I'd be curious as to learning why. But I think that's all I'm going to get up to today. If you stuck around the video for this long, thank you.
Let me switch up the game.